All right, good morning, everyone. Thanks again for joining us for another live chat with Millersville University meteorologist Eric Horst. Eric, thanks for joining us. As we know, it's downright cold out there, and we're throwing around a term called the record low max temps. So, Eric, I want to start off with that. Just how cold is it out there, and what are we looking at record-wise?
Right. It is bitter cold. I mean, if this was January, it would be one of the coldest days on record. And although we did not break a record low this morning, we got down to -2, which is impressive, but the record was -8. We will break the record for the lowest max temperature, which is, in terms of what's the warmest it gets today, I think our high temperature is going to be around 12. And the record for today was 20. So we're going to shatter that record for lowest max temp.
Wow, so definitely a very cold February on record. And when you factor in the winds that we have that have been whipping through, they sort of take your breath away, and we're dealing with really, really low wind chills.
That's right. Early this morning, right around daybreak, the wind chills were down around 20 below zero. So I think the schools did the right thing by doing a 2-hour delay today for sure, letting the sun get up and letting things just warm slightly. But even now, with the temperature currently at 8 degrees, our wind chill's still slightly below zero, between 0 and 5 below, so it's chilly out there. The good news is the winds will be slackening off this afternoon, and the wind chill effect will be, less noteworthy later in the day, and winds will actually go calm this evening for a time.
And okay, so those winds are going to be working their way out. How does the cold weather and the wind impact what we're looking at in terms of the precipitation coming into the area tomorrow?
Right. Well, certainly, plenty of Arctic air in place for this storm to move into. So we're looking at snow. I think for much of the storm it's going to be snow. And then ending as some wintry mix, some sleet, freezing rain, freezing drizzle Saturday night. As warm air comes in aloft, there's going to be a tremendous push of warm, moist air from the Gulf of Mexico coming in about 5,000 to 7,000 feet above the ground. So while down at the ground we will stay below freezing throughout the storm, it'll actually go above freezing up in the clouds, and that's why there'll be a changeover to some sleet and freezing rain. But I think probably 2/3 of the storm will be as snow here, and consequently this has a good chance of being our biggest snowstorm of the season. Now, we haven't had a big storm yet. Our most significant snow was 3.3 inches back on January 26th. So I think most of the county will probably exceed 3 inches, and some places, especially the northern part of the county, may get close to 6 inches. So that's my range right now, is 3 to 6 inches.
Okay, and what's the timeline we're looking at on Saturday? When are things expected to start, and when should things maybe wrap up?
Yeah, these types of storms tend to come in quickly and end quickly. This is not a long, drawn-out storm. I think for the most part, it's noon to midnight in terms of the main impacts here. Now, there might be some light snow that develops 10 or 11 a.m., but I think in terms of steady snow, it's noon to about 6 or 7 p.m., and then as we get into the evening hours, that's when it'll mix over to sleet, freezing rain, and then end as some freezing drizzle around midnight or after midnight. But in terms of accumulating snow, it's mostly Saturday afternoon, and it could come down pretty hard for maybe an inch an hour for a few hours during the afternoon. So any travel tomorrow, you want to get it done in the morning because conditions will deteriorate statewide from midday into the evening hours.
And as you mentioned, things are going to accumulate quickly here. So that kind of poses a problem for PennDOT trying to keep up with these things, or even townships trying to clear their roads as well. In terms of that accumulation and the snow, we're also going to be dealing with, like you said, the changeover. So can the road impact there is going to be pretty bad as well then.
Right. There will be a period of sleet and freezing rain Saturday evening, tapering off to freezing drizzle around midnight. And there could be a small accumulation of ice, but this doesn't look like a major ice storm or anything like that. And actually, PennDOT likes when you get some accumulating snow on the ground, on the roads, before the ice arrives. They will actually let some slushy snow stay on some of the roads so that that way the freezing rain can't bond to the road. So they'll be on top of this, and I think it will clean up quickly on Sunday morning. I would imagine if you're venturing out Sunday morning, there'll still be snow-covered secondary roads and slushy and wet main roads, but things will improve quickly on Sunday because, again, the event is done Saturday evening.
Right, and in terms of shoveling out your own driveway and sidewalks, it probably will be pretty heavy with the wet layer on top.
That's right. It'll be not like the last snow, which was baby powder, dry. This one will be wet and slushy Sunday morning to clean up. And you are going to want to clean it up because another Arctic air mass arrives Sunday night. So any leftover slush or water will freeze solid Sunday evening as temperatures drop back into the 20s and into the teens late Sunday night. I'll tell you, this pattern, as far as the eye can see, certainly through the end of the month, probably into the first few days of March, we are staying in the same general pattern of below normal temperatures with opportunities of some snow.
Right, and I was going to get into Sunday a little bit. There's supposed to be a little bit of a warm-up, is that right? Yeah. Relatively speaking, for what we've been dealing with?
Yeah. The skies will brighten Sunday midday and afternoon, and places where the sun peaks out, especially the southern half of Lancaster County, temperatures could actually briefly make it up to near 40 degrees. I think the farther north you are, the less likely you are to see the sun. And so if you're up near the turnpike, let's say, your high temperature might only be 34 or 35 degrees. But everybody will be above freezing for a time on Sunday, which gives you that opportunity to clean up the mess before temperatures dive back below freezing Sunday evening.
Right, and that 40 degrees is going to feel pretty good, I'd imagine, compared to what we've been dealing with. And then, like you said, temperatures are going to drop again Sunday night, so we might be dealing with some refreezing for the Monday morning commute.
It's going to refreeze quickly Sunday evening, yeah. I mean, if you're out Sunday night, anything that hasn't been cleaned up will freeze solid. And by daybreak Monday, I think we're in the low teens. And the next Arctic blast coming in, perhaps not quite as cold as the current one, but I think high temperatures Monday and Tuesday will be in the upper teens to maybe near 20 at best. That's way below normal for the last week of February. And overnight lows could be down around zero again. Maybe we get one more below zero morning next week, to finish off the season. So it's been quite a run. And I'll tell you, these below normal days are adding up right now. As February stands right now, if it ended right now, this would be the 5th coldest February on record. But you add on the cold weather we're going to see the next few days into next week, and we're going to make it run at perhaps the coldest February on record. I'm not sure we're going to meet the benchmark, which is February 1936, but it's going to be close.
You called that a couple weeks ago, and you said this is going to be the moment for this winter to make its impact, and it seems like it's doing that for sure.
Yes, this is the memorable part of winter. Forget December and January. February is the business this year, that's for sure.
And last thing I just want to touch on, are there any other systems coming up next week that you're keeping an eye on, or are we just going to...
Yeah, there's nothing that's clear-cut for next week. There's going to be a Clipper system midweek. Doesn't look like a big deal. There may be something out of the southern jet stream the end of next week. Maybe next weekend there's something brewing. I don't see anything specifically that I can put my finger on for next week. But I'll tell you, this system, again, coming for tomorrow, for Lancaster is likely the snowiest system of the season. And I'll tell you, somewhere not far from here is going to get 8 inches. We were discussing that in the Weather Center this morning. This type of system is a very consistent 3 to 6 inch snow for our area, and usually there'll be a bullseye of 8 somewhere. I'm guessing maybe it's Shippensburg, maybe it's Harrisburg, maybe it's somewhere up in Lebanon County or even Berks County. Not far from here, somebody I think will get 8 inches. And who knows, maybe it'll be some lucky viewer here in northern Lancaster County that gets 8 inches. We'll see.
Okay, so to recap, Saturday we're expecting snow to start falling, and only snow at noon until about 6 p.m., I believe you said, about 3 to 6 inches, and then it's going to switch over to some freezing rain and an icy mix to end it up in the early morning hours of Sunday.
That's right, and I should say that changeover from snow to icy mix will occur from south to north. So people in southern Lancaster County may see that changeover at 5 in the afternoon or 6 p.m. Maybe in Lancaster City it's around 7 p.m. and it may not make it up into northern Lancaster County until 8 or 9 p.m. So it'll be kind of a slow, gradual south to north changeover, and hence the higher snowfall amounts will be in the northern part of the county where it stays snow the longest.
Got it. So we'll definitely be keeping an eye on that. And for anyone who's wondering about the light at the end of the tunnel, spring is March 20th, 28 days away. So we're obviously looking forward to that. At least I am. And I think, Eric, you said you were too as well. So.
I can't wait.
All right, excellent. Well, thanks again, Eric, for joining us. Again, Millersville University meteorologist Eric Horst. Thanks so much for joining us.
You're welcome.